Hi, my name is Indigon, and in this video I'm going to go over how I, on my marksmanship hunter, killed the Delve Nullaeus boss for the Hall of Fame achievement this Wednesday. The video will go over all the mechanics of the boss. It will also go over how I dealt with them as a DPS class, as the marksmanship hunter. I'm sure there's a lot of things you can use if you're a different class as well to deal with a different set of mechanics. The video is going to be me recorded. I've recorded my gameplay of when I killed the boss, and then I'm going to have a voiceover where I explain everything that's going on during the whole fight. If there is a specific part of the fight you are in, there will be video chapters down below for all the different intermissions. And then at the end, I will also show my talent build, and I will also go over my Valera setup, and I hope you enjoy the fight. I would also love to hear which class you are using when you're trying to kill this boss, and if you have any tactics I didn't mention to deal with the different mechanics so that both me and others can learn how to deal with the boss. So if you have anything to share, please put it in the comment section below. I would love to read it, and I make sure to read every single comment on my videos. Let's go straight into it. So here we have the boss Nullaeus. He has a few mechanics that are prevalent in phase 1. They will also be prevalent throughout every single phase of the boss except for the intermissions. He will also add on a single mechanic after each intermission, so at the end you will have all of the mechanics at once. I will explain every single mechanic he does throughout the fight. The intermissions start at 75%, 50%, and 25%. So the first phase, his mechanics are number one, he has a tank buster mechanic, which will deal about 70% of your HP. This is the hardest part of the fight, and I am using my pet to tank it. A lot of different classes can use pets as well, like you can use Treants as a druid, you can use Earth Elemental as a shaman, Warlock has their own pets, etc. That is why you will see my pet die all the time, and I will be resurrecting it all the time, as this was the easiest way I felt to deal with the mechanic. Secondly, he has a damage over time effect that he will always be putting on you. And if you have Valera as a healer, it will get instantly dispelled the whole time. The last mechanic he has in phase 1 is a AoE cast that you have to interrupt, or if you don't interrupt it, it will deal around 500,000 damage. So unless you have a huge defensive, it will just kill you straight out. So always interrupt that cast. So as you can see, phase 1 is just me resurrecting my pet every time it dies, and then creating distance and having the pet taunt off before he kills me the whole time. We are approaching 75% health here, which is when he will go into the intermission. And there he just had the cast that goes off. So in the first intermission, he will be spawning 2 ads. These ads will leap to a target location. You can see the swirly underneath my character. That is one of them leaping. And they will also be putting a damage over time effect on their target. You can see that 16-second dot being on me right now because I am tanking one of them. You can also have the pet tank both. That is fine. However, your pet will take a lot of damage here as well. And the main goal of this intermission is to just try and get the ads down before the boss comes back into the fight again. I did not have enough DPS to do that, so I will be tanking one of the ads while I'm fighting the boss for a little bit until I kill it off. You can also see that there's a new mechanic, which is that the floor gets covered by this void area. The tooltip says that it deals about 150k damage per second, which is obviously a lot. It does not actually deal that much. So here you see I'm trying to kill off the ad, use feign death so that the boss goes back on my pet or on Valera if my pet is dead, and then the intermission ad is over. So now it's basically back to phase 1 again, just with this void area being covering 1/3 of the map the whole time. Like I said, the tooltip says 150k damage per second. It actually only deals 10% of that, so it's okay to stand in it a little bit or to step in to grab a pool from or a healing orb from Valera if you need to. So now it's basically just the same as phase 1, except for that small void area being covered the whole time, but that's no biggie, you don't have to care much about that. So here we will see my pet is up. He will be casting the damage over time effect, which Valera will instantly dispel. So you don't, if you're running a healer Valera, you actually don't have to care about that mechanic at all. And here he kills my pet, so I am resurrecting my pet. The pet will be taunting off again. And then I will create distance to the boss. And then we should see that my pet is dead again, so I resurrect my pet again. This happens the whole fight because that tank buster mechanic he has on his auto attacks actually just deals so much damage that my pet cannot survive it, but I will just continue resurrecting. And here's the cast you have to interrupt. If not, I would be dying unless he would have used turtle. Now I almost died during this fight, which we'll see later on. However, I was very lucky and managed to survive it. That will come a little bit later. So the next intermission will be at 50%. So now we are just dealing with just getting him lower, and I will be saving my cooldowns. So my True Shot Barrage will be ready for, or my True Shot Aura will be ready for every single intermission, as there's no enrage until you hit the final phase, so you can use as much time here as you want. One thing I could have done would have been to Bloodlust in each intermission and then just tank him for 10 minutes or 15 minutes to get Bloodlust back, but that would have made the fight take almost an hour, so you don't need to do that. You can deal with it without, and you will have a lot more gear than I had at this point as well. So the damage check should not be an issue if you are doing it later on. So here he is approaching 50%. So now I will be holding my volley and my true shot so that everything is ready for the second intermission. Here I have to kick again. Obviously, delaying the kick as much as you can is good because that just means he will be auto-attacking less. However, make sure you get the kick in. And the kick has a long cooldown, like his cast has a long cooldown. So you will have kick ready for every single cast he does, as long as you're only kicking him and not the ad that spawns at the end of the fight. He's now getting down to 55%. So we will go into the second intermission right now, which will spawn a lot of ads on this side always. Here it is all about just nuking them down as fast as you can. If I was slightly better here, I probably would have used misdirection on my pet so that I didn't take this much damage. That would have let me deal more damage as well. Here you can see I was even standing in the void for a little bit, but it is okay. My pet is dead, but these ads don't deal that much damage. They have small auto attacks, and then they have a cast that is Poison Spit, which is just a damage over time that stacks up on you. So they're not that dangerous to tank for a little bit, but obviously make sure you kill them before you get too many stacks of that damage over time. It is also really important throughout the whole fight to keep looting the healing orbs from Valera. They are very useful if you're running a healer Valera, which I do recommend for every single DPS class to run. And now the boss is up. There are still 3 ads here. I almost died, but I managed to use turtle. And now you can see that there's an orb flying around the map on the left of the screen here. That orb will, if you get close to it, it will start pulling you towards it, and if you get inside of it, it will deal a lot of damage to you. So you should always try and be opposite of that orb, or be behind it so that if it's moving away from you, so that you don't have to deal with it much. So always try and move behind it the whole time. So here it would be good of me to be moving to the left of my character, so that would be staying behind the orb, like you can see I'm doing right now, and then the pet is dead, so we have to resurrect him again. So it is the same as phase 1 now, just with the 1/3 of the room being filled with a void and the orb flying around the whole room. The final intermission, which we'll be going into at 25%, so it's quite a way off, that is when I will be using my Bloodlust. That spawns a shaman or an ogre, and he will be casting a single target damaging spell, and he will be casting a 5-minute, I do believe it is, slow effect. However, I will be completely ignoring him, and I will be waiting for the boss to spawn back up again, and then I will just nuke down the boss as much as I can. So So that is my whole strategy, is just to rush down the boss at the end of the fight, but I will continuously resurrect my pet all the time. And at the end, or at the final phase, he will be at his new mechanic will be at that he has a stacking damage buff. So you have to kill him before that buff does gets too strong, so he just starts one-shotting everything. So same as phase one, just have the pet tank the tank buster and kick the AoE cast, and Valera will take care of the final mechanic he has, which is the damage over time. So that's the whole fight. And now you can see I have to kick him again. I am just saving all my cooldowns, except for volley, because it's just 30-second cooldown. But I'm saving my true shot for the final intermission. Could use it here and then just wait for it to come back off cooldown at like 26%, but I just kept holding it because this phase is easy, right? This phase is literally just go far away and resurrect pet every time it dies. And remember to kick. I died a lot of times to the kick going off. Getting this kill took me, I didn't count, but probably close to 100 attempts. I hope with this information and footage it will be a lot easier for you to get the kill than it was for me. But I was really happy that I managed to get in the Hall of Fame at the end, right before it closed down, as one of the top 4,000 players on the European server. But let's focus again, because now we are going into the final intermission, or very soon. And it's important that I have my pet up. That's why I'm not hitting him now, because I don't want to face him when my pet is dead. So I'll be resurrecting the pet and then go into the intermission. I also wanted volley backup. Well, actually, it doesn't matter if I have volley backup yet, because this ad I will not use any cooldowns on. I'm gonna damage him because there's no reason not to, but I will not be spending any cooldowns to try and get him down. I will be saving them for the final, for when the boss comes back alive, where I'm just trying to rush down the boss. So what will happen now is I will just be damaging this ad. I will not kick the Shadow Bolt, because the problem if you kick the Shadow Bolt is that you don't have a kick ready for the AoE cast from the boss. So it is important to not get baited by the Shadow Bolt cast from the enslaved Void caster here. And the boss is now active again, so we instantly pop Bloodlust. My pet died, so that was unlucky. And then we go full nuke on the boss. Try and just kill him before he kills me. Every time the pet dies, I will be resurrecting it. And if I am scared, I will be using Survival of the Fittest while I'm resurrecting my pet, like I did there as well. And then the pet will be taunting back up again. I will have the Voidcaster on me because I haven't misdirected the aggro here. If you're better than me, you could have misdirected aggro to the pet every time I resurrected as well. Here I'm very close to dying, but I do have Survival of the Fittest up, so it is okay. I also have a health stone if I need it. If I remember, I didn't end up using it, but that would have been good. Almost dead again, but I have turtle picking up the healing orbs. If I remember that I had health stone, it would have been good to use it. That is one thing you can do. You can get a warlock to make you health stones before you go in as well, if you want a little bit of extra healing. And make sure you buy the Silver Moon health potions, as they heal you for like 70% of your health. They are very OP, so you should have them, and they cost like 10 gold or something. So there's no new mechanics you will notice other than him just dealing more damage in this final phase. That is why we just try and rush him down, because the Voidcaster doesn't do that much. He's not that bad to have just to have up. So now it's just trying to nuke down the boss. However, my focus was not on dealing damage. My focus was just on resurrecting the pet every time it dies. Because I know I can be in this phase for a long time, as long as I resurrect the pet. So I was in no rush to kill the boss here. Just resurrecting pet. That was my main priority the whole time. always just resurrecting pet. And now the boss has 3% HP or 4% HP, and I'm getting true shot again, so he will be dying really fast. My pet is also dead. I will resurrect it again. I didn't have to here, I could have just killed him, but I always wanted my pet to be alive. And then the boss is dead. So, and then I got all the achievements, including Fable Let Me Solo Him, which was the be one of the first 4,000 players in your region to defeat this boss as a solo. That was really cool. Really happy with that. This is the gear I had, 246.9 item level, so I'm sure you can get higher than that if you want to, but you don't really need to. And this was the talent page I was running. It's a standard Hydra marksmanship page, just with one talent swapped out, which lets you use the pet summon a pet. So that was the fight. I hope you enjoyed it. I did not have video footage of my Valera setup. However, this is the Valera setup I was running, and the Curios was level 1, and Valera was about level 12, 13, around there. So if you've done a lot of delves this week, your Valera will be a lot stronger than the one I had. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you do like these types of videos, I would love it if you left a comment down below. I read every single comment, and a like on the video. That would help me out a lot. And also a subscription to my channel so that you don't miss my next videos that I am uploading. I have a video planned for early next week, which will be about the Great Vault and how you should, or the knowledge you should have when you are selecting which item you want from the Great Vault. So it is completely free to do to subscribe to the channel. It would help me out a lot, and hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.